we can be honest, 2024 for the UFC has gotten off to a slower start. Fight night's been kind of weak. 297 was kind of weak. Main event was cool for sure, but the card overall wasn't hitting like that. But they definitely looking to kick it into another gear over the next few months, starting with 298 this Saturday, headlined by the quick return, for real, of Alexander Volkanovski as he take on Ilia Topuria. Now, me personally, I have been heavily conflicted, just in my head a lot over this matchup, really since it got announced, I ain't gonna lie. Cause there's so many different factors in play. I will go ahead and let it be known early, I still side with Volk as I did initially. Y'all don't know how many times I done flip-flop over the past couple weeks about this, but personally, I feel as though if I was to pick Ilia, I'm almost banking on all of the external factors that Volk got going to go ahead and speak on them. First and foremost, Volk getting a little old, bruh, he a geezer. And you got the whole thing about there not being a champion 35 or older in these lower weight classes. But honestly, I don't really care about that. Because to keep it real, at some point in time, it could be a long time, but somebody probably gonna come along and completely dispel that whole narrative. And we know that Volk is more than capable of doing so. Now, what does 100% concern me is the fact that he just got nuked a few months ago and is coming back down to featherweight to fight one of the most dangerous guys in the whole division. That's nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he washed? Is his chin cooked? I don't know. But that is the thing that concerned me the most with Volk. Now, if Volk's still himself, relatively in prime form and all that, I do think he is a notch or two better than Ilia Topuria at this point. With that being said, though, Ilia has all the necessary tools to outright beat Volk, prime or washed. Now, we know what's up with Volk. His best weapons in this gonna be his feints, specifically his jab and the leg kicks to keep distance. Cause I do feel like Volk at distance is the biggest advantage either fighter has, followed by Ilia in close. Now Ilia got a real heavy boxing approach. He real heavy on that front leg. He do a lot of the side-to-side bobbing and weaving. So that lead leg definitely gonna be there for Volk to kick out. But even bigger than that, the jab is absolutely gonna be eating Ilia alive for however long the fight lasts. A good amount of the time, Ilia likes to keep his head really right in front of his opponents for real. So combining the facts that Volk got one of the best jabs, if not the best one on earth, and a slight reach advantage that he will have, he definitely gonna be able to do a lot with his jab and probably set up whatever else after that he wants to. The check hook should also be a viable weapon because most of the time when Ilia putting pressure on his opponent, he will drop that right hand as he loading up trying to eviscerate you with it. So it's not as if Ilia on the inside is just an automatic stomp in his favor. It's just where he at his best and where Volk historically has gotten hit the most. A big thing I think Ilia gotta do going into this is throw everything in the toolbox at Volk. This would be a great time to show off your kick game, but Ilia ain't never did that in the past, and I don't think he gonna do that in this one. But we gonna have to wrestle. Regardless if we successful in taking and or holding Volk down, we just gotta mix up our looks. And whether people realize it still at this point or not, Ilia's bread and butter is his grappling. His hands just got so good over the years. That's all he wanna do is throw them. Yeah though, bro. Either way, I think this fight gonna be a war, I ain't gonna lie. Highly competitive. I just think that Volk got more ways to win the fight, so I'm going to go ahead and side with him and stop talking and thinking about this fight. Jesus Christ. Moving on to the co-main, Robert Whittaker returns to take on Paulo Costa. Costa supposedly giving us his annual appearance pretty early on in the year, but it is what it is. Now, I'll be honest, when I first seen the fight get announced, I thought it was 100% going to be a Robert Whittaker masterclass. And while I do still think that is a relatively likely thing to happen, Paulo Costa do have a pretty good shot in this fight, low-key. One thing Robert Whittaker ain't never been the best at dealing with is just a lot of physicality and pressure. I'm taking other things out like a southpaw jab or a lot of leg kicks. I don't really think Paulo Costa coming like that. But easily his biggest attributes are just his size, strength, and physicality. And when he put pressure on people, you can see them wilt under that. So if he can get Robert Whittaker moving backwards, maybe incorporate a good jab, some body work specifically with them heavy body kicks, he could find himself in positions to catch and hurt Robert Whittaker. Because as we all know, Rob ain't got the best chin. So some good shots from Paulo Costa definitely could hurt him. But honestly, I think just behind his jab alone, Robert Whittaker can completely control this fight and set up any and everything else he could potentially want to do. So yeah, I think Rob get it done with a little decision. we'll finally get to see what I think is a very intriguing matchup in Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. I'm going to keep it a stack. This is a fight I do believe can go either way. I think both guys are only one shot away from completely ending the other, and I do think the result of the fight is going to come down to Jeff Neal. If Jeff Neal comes forward behind his smooth footwork, his relatively high guard, I think he'll be able to lure out Ian Gary as he moves him back and counter. Both guys are kind of suspects to this, but Ian Gary specifically will overextend and leave his chin wide open. And I think Jeff Neal is fast, precise, and powerful enough that if he's first and third in these exchanges, he'll be able to put Ian Gary down. Like I said, though, I do think Ian Gary is capable of winning the fight, but I don't really think Jeff Neal the best matchup for him, especially this early in his career. And for the last fight that I really spent some time on, Merab taking on the geezer, Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, one of the most interesting guys in the 135-pound division to me because he does present a style to beat almost everybody. It's just the fact that he's so far out of his prime. He just ain't really giving it up the same he was 6-7 years ago. I do think, once again, just as I thought in the Aljamain Sterling fight, that he brings a good style to beat Merab with, but Merab's probably the most relentless fighter I've ever seen in my life. Actually spamming takedowns and not getting tired. Also not caring that his style is a little boring. He knows exactly what he got to do to win, and he's willing to do it. Now, in the middle of the octagon, I don't really think Merab going to be able to do too much. I don't think he's taking down Henry Cejudo there. And in the stand-up, Cejudo is far and away the more technical striker. The issue gonna come when Merab do what he do and put that pressure on Cejudo, getting him moving backwards. Once he put him on that cage, I ain't gonna lie, that's what Henry Cejudo is doing. It's gonna be a lot harder for him to stop them takedowns as it was when he fought Aljo. And as I mentioned before, Merab ain't gonna stop shooting, bro. He will shoot 70 times if that's what he gotta do. And I do think he has to do that against Cejudo. Merab is similar to Aljo in the fact that when he comes forward like that, he will leave openings on himself. And Henry Cejudo always has been a very precise and powerful striker to find counter shots. That's how he gonna win the fight. Catching Merab coming forward. Not gonna lie though, Merab is real tough. And he been in some incredibly bad positions in the past and somehow survived them. And I don't know if 53-year-old Henry Cejudo gonna be the one to stop him. So yeah, it's possible, but I ain't really seeing it. And it's only a 3-round fight, which limits the opportunities that Cejudo has to find them big shots. So yeah, I side with Merab. Cool card though, for sure. The feature fights are very intriguing. Think they gonna be exciting. Roman Kopylov on the fight. He actually the underdog too, as well as some other cool prospects. But the card should be fun overall, and I'm tapped in for sure.